All right, so we all know that the janitorial industry can be really tough. And for those of you that are managers, management is the toughest job in the industry. Trying to oversee a staff and to manage that workforce, to hire that workforce, to develop them, and to get the jobs done that you need to is really tough. So at my company, we have 25 or so managers that do this work, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that it's the toughest job in our company. So one of the things that can make this job particularly tough is the fact that you've got so many workers, and oftentimes you're maybe losing staff or people are calling in and you've always got holes to fill and you've got gaps that need to be filled, or people quit, and it can always create crisis situations. And the thing that makes management so tough in this industry is that if we're not careful, we always live in crisis mode. And if you're a manager in the janitorial industry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's so easy to live in crisis mode. I remember early on in the early stages of our company, we started growing into a new area, and I was responsible for managing the accounts that we landed in that area. And one of those accounts was a job that I actually worked on 3 shifts, 5 days a week. And so there was 2 people on first, 1 on second, and 2 on third. And I remember getting phone calls at 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night when the third shift was supposed to start, letting me know that one or both of my workers were not going to be there for whatever reason. And I can remember the panic that I would feel inside me when I would get that phone call. And I remember embarrassingly trying to talk my people into just showing up, even though they really just wanted to quit. And as I look back on that, one of the problems that I see was my lack of preparedness in getting the right people on my team and then having backup plans to account for that. So what I would encourage you is, if you've got jobs and you've got openings, whether you've got multiple shifts you're trying to staff or you have jobs that are all on one shift, is that you do 2 things. That number one, that you focus on getting the right people on your team. There's nothing that creates bad hires more than desperation. So I would encourage you to take a proactive approach to staffing your accounts, or to partnering with someone in your company that does the recruiting and hiring, to make sure that you're always proactively looking for the right people, and maybe removing people from your team as you find better and better candidates. This way that you're being proactive and you're not going to end up in a situation where you've got bad team members that create crisis situations. Because when you have a crisis situation, usually your only hiring test is, hey, can you fog a mirror? Great, come join my team. So we want to get out of that mode, because that really creates problems for us in the long run. And then the second thing that we want to do is have backup plans. So we want to have plans for our management of our accounts that will allow us to be prepared for when the inevitable comes. So when people call in sick, when somebody quits unexpectedly. So the best way to do this is 2 things. Number one is to cross-train people. So you've got people that know how to do multiple jobs and are open to working a little bit extra if the situation arose. And then also to have maybe a designated floater. And so a floater is basically someone you bring onto your team that doesn't have a set specific job, but they go around from account to account filling in as necessary, maybe to do project work or to fill in for workers that are out or sick, or you have an opening. So being prepared can help you to not fall into that crisis, which then perpetuates the problem by you having desperation hiring. So to have a smoother job, to make your job less stressful, you want to get out of desperation mode. So you want to do proactive hiring. And then you always want to have contingency plans for when things are not going to go as planned, which will happen. So if you can do these 2 things and make them a part of the rhythm of your job, it will keep you out of crisis mode, and it will make a job that's ordinarily very tough, can make it a little bit easier for you if you're planned and ready. So implement these things into your job, and I can promise you this kind of thing is going to help you in the long run to be a better manager.